Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Japanese Grand Prix here in Suzuka for round number 10 of the championship. I believe there's one more race to go after this as well, or maybe it's the last race of the season. I haven't done my research. But last time we had the British GP, which was a wet race throughout the whole of it as well, and IRT Chizza was the one who was streaming and not commentating it. But you have got a commentator here tonight or this afternoon, so don't worry about that one. Today, alongside me, is the one and only IRT Bompia.
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me again, Jamie. Thanks for being here. And yeah, last round indeed. So this is the finale. It's between two teams that can still win it. ET8 is currently on top. It's 27 points the difference between them and NLR. So it's very tough for the team in P2 to actually win this. They need to get a 1-2 and then for ET8 to retire both cars or not get points for both cars. So very, very tough, but not impossible.
Yeah, anything could happen here around the Japanese Grand Prix. 19 on the roster so far, so we should have one more joining in halfway through qualifying too. So that will make 20, which is a full house, which we always want at any Grand Prix. We've got Snipes out there. So WOR actually gained some points to the championship because I think they took their first podium of the season. I think. Back at the British GP, and it was a wet race, so I think he finished in P2. I can't remember which driver who did it, but congrats. It was actually Soapbox who did it, who finished in P2. So what a great drive there for AlphaTauri, and needed some much boosted points as well, because LDL, the closest to them in P5, and WOR looking to get P4 or P3, depending if they can get a good result, which they needed. But yeah, the battle so far is between ETA and NLR, and ETA and NLR we've been looking really good this season. The battle with them has been incredible throughout the whole season. It's changed hands in different races, and also CPI being involved too, with the likes of TJ Boskowski and all of them. CPI drivers did a major job as well. It's incredible to watch all these battles for different esports teams.
Yeah, definitely, it's been a great fight, and getting off to a little bit of a slow start in the earliest rounds. I think they scored 0 points actually in the first round, so that definitely didn't help them, of course, in their title fight that is unfolded now. But as we were speaking about that, I think the first driver is starting the lap, which is Palangana for Esports Spec. They do, I think they are in 7th position in the championship. They can still climb up positions, they can still fall down as well. The only team that is guaranteed of their spot is CPI. They're in 3rd, they can't go lower, they can't go higher. A lot of traffic already in Sector 1 for the Haas, and that's an AlphaTauri. We nearly collected Dara there, almost getting in the way of the Haas. So not a great conditions for him to do his Sector 1 in here as well. Mercedes just about getting out of the way in the 31.2. He can definitely go faster than that, with all those cars there being very, not really in the way, but they're distracting, to say the least.
Yeah, ruined your eyesight as well, so that might affect him just a bit in the first sector. Maybe it's the turbulent air as well, and not knowing what those guys are going to do as well. But however, he hasn't validated. He's still going. His Palaganda full in the Haas as we come through Spoon, a lovely section there where we saw Max Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel make contact through here as well. A few drivers at the exit of the corner also crashed into the wall, such as Valtteri Bottas back in 2018 when he smashed into the wall in the practice sessions. 10.3 there for Palaganda full as we head through 130R, fascinating corner where Kobayashi had that amazing save in 2011. And here we are in the final two corners then. Let's see what the benchmark is for all these drivers as we make our way towards the finish line. It's going to be a 26.8, and I've seen this before. 26.8 is a banker, so it's a decent banker. Let's see if anybody else can improve on their lap times.
Yeah, it's of course just improving on the bank, and that's a great penalty. So we will have a restart.
Hold on.
Most likely for this already.
I don't think it will be a restart because it was a collision. I think you get a restart if it's a blocking penalty, like a 5-place grid penalty for blocking. But if it's a collision, I don't think it's a restart because you hit them. If that makes sense.
I get what you mean. It depends, of course, on what the contact is and if anyone gets affected by it. So we'll see. We'll see about that. In the meantime, Snipes and RCR King have gone to the top of the leaderboard, both with a 26.6. Now Mikila for CPI he went 4th or 5th, I think it was temporarily. Now Kivana with a really good banker lap time. Of course, PSGL is coming up also round 1 of Suzuka, so they will probably already have their practice in for that live bout in P4 with a 26.7. So quite close if you don't count Giovanna, that is.
Yeah, Giovanno got a 3/10 advantage already on Snipes in P2 representing WR. So Kakowski in P3, Papine at the exit of Spoon has invalidated his lap time. Got a bit too wide at the exit of the corner, and as a result, picked up in a validation. So that's his lap time ruined, and we'll love to see what lap time he's going to set. So that's his lap time done and dusted then. Let's see who else is out there on the circuit. Got quite a few validation. We've got Dareth coming towards the end of the middle sector. His Alpha Tyre teammate there just backing off. It was Snipes, so I presume he'll be back in the pit lane, whereas his teammate will continue on his lap time. Coming through the final 2 corners, let's see if he can join his teammate in P3. Hazara has gone into P2. Dareth comes across the line. It's P3. Alpha Tari looking good again. P3 and P4, their late season resurgence there, looking really well. They need those points as well to try and boost themselves up the order. They're currently in P4 in the championship. Quite a long way behind CPI, but we'll never know what could happen. CPI currently in P5, and the other driver is in P11 at McLean as well. So Kakowski, the lead CPI driver, in P5 there. Let's see what he could do. He's scored some decent results as Kakowski, but on the podium, got a win a few times as well. He's a very quick driver, is the Polishman. So let's see if we can keep it up here. As a great job from the Norwegian driver of Hazara as well in the McLaren. So he's looking good for ETA here, and ETA looking to win the championship as well. I think this is his first time racing Hazara this season. So let's see what he could do on his debut here for IRT Esports, but looking really good so far. His teammate's currently in P7. The gap is only 2/10 as well. So despite P2 and P7, it's only 2/10 in it between those guys there, if you don't count Giovanno, like you said.
Yeah, close grid. Very close grid indeed, the first race that Hazara has done. And if it stands like this, I don't think NLR currently has a second driver because of some internet issues, then the championship is very prematurely already sealed, which would not, which definitely isn't what we want. Currently, the team of X in the Alfa Romeo, both drivers not setting a lap time, as well as IRT being down there with P15 and P18, Papine not setting a lap time, and Astros doing a 28.1, which he'll definitely want to improve on.
Sorry about that. I was about to say the Mercedes driver's back in the pit lane, but Papine is also in the pit lane too, so both Mercedes on the back foot there, as both of the drivers couldn't get a decent lap time on the board, and unfortunately down there in P18 and P15, like I said. We've got Ayuzumadu in P14 there, representing LDL. He's almost spun in the pit lane, but saved it, has the Williams driver. LDL currently in P5 in the championship, fighting with IRT as well, so they're both close together, IRT and LDL, as they're both close together on the track too, so they're fighting each other. I don't think they can progress forward. Can they? WR Esports is quite far away for those two, so they're just fighting for 6th in the championship, along with Esports Peck in P8 and X Esports in P9 as well. So majority of drivers in the pits, no one's on a lap time, but we have got a few drivers out there on their outlaps, such as our pole man of Giovanno, Snipes in P4. So let's see then if these drivers on their second run can improve on their lap times. Championships as well has been won here in the past, such as Max Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel, Michael Schumacher. Lots of championships have been won in the past as well. It's not even the last race of the season has the Japanese Grand Prix, or near to it. It's always been in the middle somewhere. So that's how much you can tell these drivers are dominated if they win the championship at the Japanese Grand Prix, which is about round 15 or 16. But yeah, what a great track this is around here in Suzuka. Fast flowing figure 8 circuit as well, and lots of great battles in the past. The championships decided as well. And last championship that's been won it, I think, was Max Verstappen back in 2020. Where did Max Verstappen? It was Qatar. I can't believe I've already forgotten about this season. Max Verstappen won the Japanese Grand Prix Championship in the 2022 season with Leclerc versus Perez towards the last corner when it was wet too.
Yeah, definitely a lot of controversy as well in the past. Remember Senna versus Prost into one here, both just went off, and they sealed the championship that way. Definitely a way to do it. The second round of laps are currently on the way. Palangana is getting his lap time in, as I'm going to invite Axelinho. He's going to step in for NLR because Delapad isn't able to drive.
There we are then on board with Start. It's a bit of oversteer in the mid corners as we come through Dunlop, a flat out left hander as we make our way towards the end of the first sector. Two cars in the way! Ooh, that was so close there to making contact with the Williams. He was parked literally on the curb there, so I think he needed to boot it but couldn't do so. This is such a difficult track to get out of the way. Even if you're not in the way, you still are, if that makes sense, because it affects drivers' point of view. As Palaganda Fall has put his Haas into P2 with a 26.4, so getting closer towards Giovanno. Giovanno in the Aston Martin representing LLR is currently on a flying lap as we head through the first sector, threading a needle through here as well. And here we are then coming through Dunlop, a bit wide on the entry. They might affect his corner entry towards Dunlop as we make our way towards the first Degner. It's going to be a 30.9. It's a few hundreds down in the first sector. Looks like he took it flat out to the first part of the Degner 1. Now through Degner 2. Decent exit for him as we head through the hairpin. We saw Danny Kvyat crash here back in 2015 when he clipped the grass and smashed into the wall. Also the exit of the hairpin, Carlos Sainz lost the rear end and smashed into the wall in the same year as well, 2015. So both of them having problems coming out and in of the hairpin as we come through Spoon. Another fantastic corner as well. We see overtakes through there, that part of the track as well. Obviously this season we saw Russell versus Hamilton, and those two went off the track together as Hamilton tried to defend from Russell. Here we are on the straight then. Our most memorable past here is back in 2005, and I think Raikkonen overtook Alonso into 130R, and coming into the final two corners where we saw Senna and Frost make contact too in 1989, and 1 year later they crashed again in the first corner in 1990. Giovanno comes across the line now. It's a 26.1, and he goes quickest by 2 tenths as well.
Yeah, another great lap by the Dutchman for driving for NLR. He's really developed well. Zara now comes across the line, and he is into the 25s, a 25.8. That's a stellar lap time from the Norwegian in the McLaren, and I don't think that would be very tough for people to beat. As Axelinho is in the lobby, that's very good to see. At least they have a chance now, and that is Cobra going up into P10, and Diaval, I think my screen here was in a gravel, but then he just teleported back. There's some sort of disconnection going on there. I don't know exactly what is happening, but I'm sure it'll be some sort of fun. CPI drivers slipstreaming each other towards 130R. Gowski is the one who's getting that benefit. Only 8 thousandths up though through the middle sector, but he gained almost 3 tenths in that last sector with that slipstream from Mikela. So he is up into P3 for CPI with a 26.3.
ETA, CPI, and NLR 1, 2, 3, as it's been majority throughout the whole season as well. It's like Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari, those three teams there, with a few drivers slipping on the podiums now and then, like Dareth, WR, sorry, back to the British GP. But yeah, great lap time for Kwiatkowski. Gained almost 3 tenths in that last sector too, so be happy with that one. As McKillany is back in the pit lane, P15 for him, so be looking to improve. And ETA Dirk, is the race dry? I'm not quite sure, mate, because I don't get told anything. But ETA Dirk says it was distracted but not blocking. He cuts the corner and still doesn't hit him, so that isn't a block. Yeah, I know, it's not a block, but it's distracted. That's what I meant. So yeah, thanks Dirk for clearing that up. ETA Life Bounce has gone into P2, so it's an ETA 1-2, and it's a 26.1 then. So ETA currently in P1 and 2 in the championship as well. They're looking at a great form so far. I can cleanse the championship away from NLR as Axelino has joined the session with 5 minutes left to go then. So on the back foot is the Aston Martin driver. Hopefully he can get about 1 or 2 laps, 2 at the maximum, and see where he can go from there and try and join his teammate Giovanni in P3 as well.
Yeah, 2 laps is going to be a tough ask to do. He has to go out straight away and then do 1 lap, cool down lap, and then go again, which even then it will be tight to finish the lap. I think Rocky Pence, is he on the lap? It doesn't look like it. He's running out of fuel as well. It's invalidated in the last corners anyway, so if he was, it wouldn't have been it wouldn't have counted anyway. Dara as well on his in lap, Lifeout on his in lap of course, and Izumada. I think that's then the second round of laps all over, and again it is a Haas driver of Palangana, I dare say, first out on track. It is not, it is his teammate Migolato who's in sector 1, so it is, let me have a look, that's Snipes who's going to be the first one to set the last their last flyer lap.
Here we are with the Hassman then 500 up in the first sector into Delta 2 a bit wide on the entry there. His teammate is currently in P5, so Miguelata is trying to join his teammate there as we head through the hairpin. Another great opportunity to overtake as well. Plenty of opportunities of overtaking around here as well, especially the hairpin heading into Spoon, obviously the main straight in turn 1 there, and probably at 130R and at the final 2 corners. So this is a great track for racing indeed as we head through Spoon then, flick it in, carry the speed as you can and try go out wide of the exit without validating. That's a bit too wide though for Miguelator, and I believe who was it? It was a Mercedes driver who did the same thing. It was Papine who did the same thing on their laps. So Miguelator unfortunately went out a bit too wide and validated, and he'll be having to head back into pit lane because he's got no fuel and lack of ERS too. 2 minutes and 50 seconds left to go. I think he can get back into pit lane and out there again. So he'll be joining the rest of the drivers there in sync. No, he's crossed the line, probably going for a cool down lap, and he was 8/10 up. So where would that put him? 26.9. So probably about P13. But he's still going for it. I'm not quite sure what his game plan here is because he's quite low on the ERS. He looks like he's still on the flying lap, just trying to get back in the pit lane. I'm actually stuck on the thing now. Oh, he spun, and into
Yeah.
gravel he goes.
That's not what he would have wanted. I think he just went for another lap, but then without the use of ERS, which definitely wouldn't help you as he goes for another spin. And he has to switch off board with him. GT10 Raf is on a lap. A lot of traffic in that first sector again because you're out of sync. It can be a little bit tricky for him and Snipes as well. Those two on their laps in the first sector.
So, Snipes, what happened to him down at Degner 1? There was 2 cars in the way, had to take avoided action. He was 1/10 up in his first sector. This time, there's no cars in the way. Bit wide at Degner 2, and it has a massive wheel spin on the exit as well with the curbs. As we make our way down into the hairpin, into third gear we go, slow it all down. I try and get a decent exit without any wheel spin, and decent exit there for Snipes then as we make our way towards this short straight there with 2 cars in the way, now 3 as they all try and get each other. Oh no, we're going to head into some traffic. The LP gets out of the way, but he keeps it on the track though. It looked like he was about to validate, but still the game registers that he hasn't validated, and he can now get a good toe off his teammate, and it was probably a bit too close there. Now there's somebody else in the way, gets out of the way for him, so he had to get away. He had to make way for 4 cars there as Papine has left the session. Headed into the final 2 corners we go for Snipes. Has this lost him or gained him any time there? Massive wheel spin at the exit 2 of the final 2 corners. Snipes makes his way towards line. This is pole! No, it's not, sorry. My eyes are deceiving me. I thought it was in the 25s. But it's P5 with a 26.3. So I need to wear my glasses because I wear my glasses all the time when I commentate, but not today, but they're right in front of me. So I'll definitely put those on because I thought it said a 25.3, but it's a 26.3. So my mistake there on my end.
Yeah, well, can happen. Just put the glasses on and then it'll be fine. But it's still without with all that traffic on his lap, he probably couldn't have done much better than that. Let's see who the drivers are that are coming towards the end of the lap. One of them, who I'm looking at, is Hazara, and he's getting a tow from his teammate Lifeboat. Is he up in the middle sector? No, he's 4/10 down and he lets off, and that is another try for an improved lap. Done and dusted. I don't think Lifeboat will be able to make the line and to start another lap actually. It's tough, I can't see the time. 1 second. No, he is too late indeed, and there's Axelinho into the wall as well, so that his only qualifying attempt is done and dusted as well. Sam, is he coming to finish his lap? Indeed he is. 2/10 up already. That could be around P5. Where does he go? He goes into P6, only 2/10 behind, 2,000s I should say, behind Snipes. Givano is up in as well in the middle sector. Wouldn't be enough yet for pole position, and it still isn't. He splits the both ET8 drivers though, so that is P2 for him. Both AlphaTauris now on their last laps. Dara, where does he go? Can't improve. Probably gave each other a slipstream, but invalid for him. He would have improved. Probably it's a P3, but an invalidation doesn't help there.
Kikowski on his final lap is 2/10 up as well, so keep an eye on Kikowski. The max he can get is P2, depending if he can find more time in this last set. So maybe he had a toe off at the back of his teammate McKillany, who's down in P16 then. He's cutting in a lap, is McKillany, so keep an eye on him in P16, see what he can do. Here comes Kikowski, makes his way towards the line. It's a 26.2, and he goes into P4. Lost a lot of time in the last set, so bear in mind, he did have a slipstream on the last set, so hence why he lost a bit of time. McKillany, unfortunately, has not improved in the middle sector, so he's 2/10 tenths down, and he will not go higher than his position in P19. So, one NLR driver and one CPI driver in P60 and P20. I will dip to the toilet, and hopefully we can have a fascinating race. But ETA Dirk says Lifeboat missed the line with a few seconds. I think communication was key between both ETAs, because Hazara was not on a fly lap. He was, but he was down in the middle sector anyway. So I think Hazara should have told Lifeboat he was down. Lifeboat could have boosted it and made it towards the line, but unfortunately didn't. But still, P3 is good. But NLR Giovanno is in a McLaren sandwich, and looking good for the championship is ETA.
Yeah, definitely 1 and 3. That's almost as good as you're gonna get as Azaric. That indeed takes pole position over 2 tenths from his nearest competitor in Giovanno P2. Lifeboat P3 makes it double top 3 for ETA. Kagowski and Snipes with a Polish meeting there in P4, P5. Sam in P6. Balangana in P7, Dara 8, King 9, and Koba rounds off that top 10 for qualifying. We will have a quick restart because of a grid penalty that shouldn't have been there. Lovely game this is, and yeah, it's always just a mess with this. So I hope everyone is able to quickly retire.
I take it as a lobby restart, judging what I'm seeing. Bob, yeah, you
Yeah,
still there?
yeah, indeed it is.
I was nervous that I didn't come back in time, but luckily it's a lobby restart, so whew, imagine the embarrassment I would have had while these drivers were racing. I didn't expect it to go this quickly, but obviously we have no formation lap, so yeah. So we're having a lobby restart then, as it's currently WR12, and if they finish like this today, could be their CPI, but yeah, it depends when CPI finish. But we're gonna have a lobby restart anyway. And also, ETA Dirk, if you're still in the chat, just want to say a massive thank you for hosting the lobby in EML, because I was the original host, and apparently there's a glitch with the host and the streaming too. So as a spectator, but hopefully we don't have that issue today. And lobby restarts, I just want to mention, are the most common thing now in F123. Never experienced it so much in any other games that we've raced in, but yeah, lobby restarts are starting to occur more and more.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. It is just the grid penalties in qualifying that are a mess. You can just get it by someone driving closely behind you in qualifying while bombing a few tires. It's a mess.
It's changed to TF10 Dirk 30 seconds ago.
Well, that feels
So just to reiterate, in the championship, ETA have a good lead of about 27 points ahead of NLR, and CPI currently in P3. I don't think they can catch NLR. WR Esports is about 31 points behind CPI. LDL versus International Racing Team versus RCR. Esports PEC in P8 ahead of X Esports and GT10 currently in P10. Bear in mind though, they haven't raced quite a lot this season. But Bob Pierre, whilst you've been here, what do you think's been the best race of the season so far? I think you were here for the Belgian Grand Prix, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I was indeed. I think I saw some other races as well, but it's been, of course, 10 weeks already. I don't really know. Yeah, the Belgian Grand Prix, it was very hectic. Let's put it that way. A lot happened, especially in the last couple of laps. So it was definitely enjoyable, maybe not the best. Let's put it that way.
The Imola Grand Prix was alright as well, despite being a wet race. I remember the ETA boys and LLR boys were fighting each other. Kart racer as well amongst them all with no penalties, and kart racer won the Imola Grand Prix. Kakowski was in P2, so all season long, CPI, NLR, and ETA have had great battles throughout the past, and it's been amazing to watch too. And we're back in the session, and I will grab a glass of water to clear my throat before we get into the race, and hopefully be a good race around here in Japan. I think the Australian Grand Prix too has been a great race. We saw both CPR drivers work with each other. That was back in the multiplayer cars too, when the game had an update and it completely mucked up. But yeah, CPR drivers, they've been working well together. They had a 1-2 back at the Australian Grand Prix when it was ETA Dark as well. Not Dirk, Dark. And they can get can get confused between the two boys, ETA Dark and Dirk. I think if they were both racing together, I'll definitely get it mixed up and mess up the names. But yeah, four-letter words can be confusing sometimes between the two. But yeah, it was a great race back at the Australian Grand Prix. It's been changing hands quite a lot. Like the pendulum swung towards different drivers' way. Remember the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix? A kart racer did a major job of winning the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix too, with Kwiatkowski in P2 and Braddock's both ETA P3 and P4. But throughout the whole season, it's gone towards ETA's way. I've not been here to commentate all of it. At the back of the British GP, the one it was rated at, and I didn't commentate. It was Chizza who streamed it. He did a major job with directing the stream. Justin won the Grand Prix for NLR with Soapbox in P3 and Paul in P3 representing ETA. Kakowski P6 as well. Mohammed in P7. Mohammed, I think, won the first Grand Prix back in the Belgium, or was it Daniel? But yeah, I think for ETA with Daniel and Mohammed, it went off to a great start as well, finishing 1-2. I remember that somebody had internet connection issues before the Grand Prix got underway. I can't remember who it was. It was an ETA driver who struggled with his internet. It was Nicalepi who struggled with his internet, and Daniel came in to replace him. And towards the end of the Grand Prix, Daniel went from P20 to finish P2, and it was an ETA 1-2. So since the beginning of the season, it's been ETA's way, with NLR and CPI trying to get victories and podiums, but CPI have done a major job. ETA's done a major job overall, and I think if they win the championship tonight, they definitely deserve it with the teamwork they've done as well and the great pace. Every single NLR, CPI, ETA driver that's taken part this season, they've all done an amazing job working together. And it's not a drivers' championship; it's a constructors. So each team will be working with each other, and every single driver of that team who's been taking part has done a fantastic job. And the guys behind as well, such as WOR, Esports team, they've done an incredible job too in the race. Managed to get a podium in the British GP. LDL, we've seen them in the top 10. Sometimes like the Hungarian Grand Prix, I remember that race too. But yeah, it's been an amazing season overall. The amount of battles we've witnessed commentated when I've not been here as well, it's just been amazing to watch, and hopefully get another opportunity because the attendance has been amazing too. I remember one race where the attendance wasn't good, but it was all right. But the attendance overall, I'm really impressed with all these drivers turning up and putting an amazing show, and all the viewers as well back at home watching. You've all been great too to watch and been supportive too. So I really appreciate this season from all of you, and hopefully we can put on a show for you at the last race of the season here in Japan, which is about to get underway very shortly.
Yeah, I can hope so as well. That one race, I think two teams just didn't show up. That wasn't great, 14 drivers in that particular event, but we managed to get back to 20, which of course it's great to see. Everyone racing and everyone hopefully having a good time as well, which probably isn't going to be the way. You can never have everyone content in a race. Yeah, setups as well. Definitely not a thing that you want to forget right now. with the lobby restart, I know a lot of drivers have experienced it, and then yeah, you're just a boat on the race. You can't do anything anymore, and you're just only there for vibes and nothing else.
Yeah, setups is the most crucial key. A balanced setup is never great, even though it is balanced. It says it's never great at any track. And yes, when it comes to a lobby restart as well, just trying to get back into a rhythm, try to focus on the race ahead of you after that break as well, because the adrenaline these drivers have. I know some drivers can keep calm, but I've spoken to a few drivers that very quick, and the adrenaline they have going in and out of race, it goes up all the time, and they're nervous every single time, even before the session too. Drivers like me who get very nervous too, hence why we mess up in qualifying, because in practice you've got no pressure at all. You can do whatever you want in practice, but when it counts in the actual qualified and race too, which you have to put it all together and try and keep calm and not bottle under pressure too. That's what makes the best of the drivers, because you can be very quick, but at the same time there's also consistency, maintaining well under pressure as well, which makes the best out of drivers. And that's why some drivers up there at the top that can put in every single lap together, even at the start of qualifying when it's a new conditions, new track, well not new track, but new conditions, unknown territory. You don't know what the tyres are like, don't know what the car's like, and they can just pull out a lap immediately, just in one go. It's just incredible at the start of qualifying when you don't know what the track conditions going to be like at all. So I really respect those drivers that can just pull it out of the bag immediately. Because for people like me, I'm not going to name other people too, but that'd be unfair. But people like me, it takes about 2 or 3 laps to get into it, and that's why we don't have. Yeah, we're not at the top because we can't do it, unlike other drivers. So it's just incredible to watch all these drivers put the practice in. When it comes to a new lobby, they could just get in there straight away and do what they do at the best and be at the top. So massive respect to all those drivers.
Yeah, I would respect them even more if they started the race as well. Which, well, there we go.
Here are the lights then. ETA versus NLR. That's the front row. And let's have a look. Let's see what happens. 27 laps to go in this race. The lights are off. Miguelator's left the session. There's a jump start. There's a Haas reversal. There's a safety car already then. This could be another... Oh, another restart we go then. So safety car leads them away. And this is definitely a safety car restart. I mean, this is a new lobby restart. What a shame there. This happened back in EML as well. And this game is just amazing, I must say.
Yeah, it's lost for words.
I think we have to have a brand new lobby overall, because this is the same lobby we were in. So I think a new lobby is in place, and it's just a shame, really.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about this game. This game's just absolutely amazing. Like, they just can't build a better game than this, can they? Just every single year, Codemasters always found a way to mess things up. The same glitches always appear in every single game we have. This game got released back in June, July, and we're still having major issues with it as well. I think it's best if I leave the session before the race is over, because I'll get stuck in the session. You already left the session, haven't you?
Yeah, I think I've invited everyone again. I hope.
Yeah, new lobby is the best way to go. Well, let's talk about the US Grand Prix then. So, while we've got some spare time in hands once again, what's your prediction for the US Grand Prix, Bob? My prediction is, I think Verstappen will just make his way through the field from P6 and just win the race, quite frankly.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So cheers for ruining it.
I've already spoiled the race before it started. 3 hours to go, by the way, before the US Grand Prix gets underway. I think it's Leclerc, from Norris, and Hamilton. I think Norris could get on the podium, because his pace back in the sprint was amazing. He caught Leclerc towards the end of that Grand Prix, so I think the podium might be Verstappen, Hamilton, Norris, or Verstappen, Norris, Hamilton. That's my podium prediction. Unless Perez could somehow get in there, which I don't think he will, despite being in one of the best cars. And Diaval with the loading icon in the chat, that's exactly my thoughts too.
After qualifying, see what the results were. What a beautiful game.
I've been here majority of this season as well, so I've just tried to figure out what has been the best race of the season so far because there's been a lot to choose from as well. We saw Qatar, a great race between all the drivers. We've got a lot of penalties too. I think Erpek won the Grand Prix because I remember talking about his performance back at the Qatar Grand Prix when he had a puncher back in Legacy Division. It was an LLR 1-2. It was actually Giovanni who won the race because he had less penalties or no penalties. Yeah, it was Giovanni who won the race because he had no penalties. Erpek won the Grand Prix. Then, unfortunately, Legacy Division, he picked up on that puncher with the last lap to race of the go. So that was a shame there for Erpek. But yeah, overall, I think every single race this season has been great, including the Hungarian Grand Prix too, where I think Kakowski came on top on that one. It was Matteo who came on top. It was Kart Racer in P2. Kakowski finished in P3 at the time as well. But Belgium was definitely one to remember, especially that last lap chaos. And I'm watching it right now to see what happened because that was 2 months ago. I think somebody had front wing damage. It was a Red Bull and Denso. It was a TF driver, so that tells you everything you need to know.
No comment.
Yeah, I think TF took part early doors in this season, but I haven't seen or heard from him again until that race happened in Brazil.
Yeah, he was driving for JR that race, and then they dipped.
I think JR, TF, what other teams have taken part in this esports division?
It was who left as well? I can't remember. I need to find. Just waiting for one more driver once again.
I don't have OBS, guys, so apologies about the delay. Otherwise, I'll put up the lovely graphics up like James Head does in the EML server. But yeah, once again, a massive apologies about delay. We're just trying to do everything we can with this game. Never known so many lobby restarts in just in this game. Hazara as well, another driver I want to talk about. He has been phenomenal in league racing too. His pace I've witnessed in other leagues has been monumental as well. He's really stepped up his game, has Hazara. Now he's in ETA. Let's see what he could do because he definitely deserves that drive. Does Hazara? He's on pad as well, and the amount of times I've seen him race, even with a dodgy setup, he's even maxed out the setups as well he's used and essentially won the races. So Hazara, I've known him since like 4 years ago, maybe 5 now, because it's been so long. We used to race against each other, and his pace has been phenomenal. And to see him being up there with top esports teams is amazing too. So it's nice to see the progress he's made throughout the whole years. But we're about to get racing then for the third time, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, it can only go up from here.
My memory's quite poor, so I don't actually remember which drivers won which races because they all have different drivers. I remember which teams won the last races, but I get confused between some drivers sometimes when it's different drivers taking part in different races, obviously with the preferred tracks. With the Japanese Grand Prix for the first race in PSGL, this will be a great taster race to see their pace as well. What can they do in this race against PSGL? First race this season, PSGL. This will put a lot of practice and give a lot of information too for those drivers who are participated in PSGL, depending what tier they're all in. And also, Bobby, are you participating in PSGL this season?
Yeah, let's not talk about it. So we're gonna get underway again, hopefully. And yeah, if the lobby doesn't break this time, I bet it doesn't, then we can actually watch the race and hopefully have some enjoyment of it.
I hope so as well.
It's,
Majority of drivers were on the hards in the first lobby. I saw some on the mediums and one driver on the soft compound tyres. That's an LDL driver of Izumadu. So let's see if he does actually start the soft compound tyres or will he change his strategy, because he saw a lot of people on the hards and mediums. Bearing in mind where he started as well, that's why he's probably on the softs to gain a lot of time off the start and try and gain as many positions as he can before any safety cars come out or before his tyres start to wear out too.
yeah, I've seen soft medium strategies on Suzuka happen on this game as well, but um, it's of course tough to manage the tires, manage um, yeah, the drop off especially. It's so easy to just fall off a cliff with the tires, have a little bit of a spin, go into the wall, and that's a race over when that happens, of course, and which is quite suboptimal.
Is it going to be third time lucky for all of us, or will there be another lobby restart, which hopefully won't be, because we should be probably over lap 10 in this race by now, but all these lobby restarts have cost us a lot of time. Luckily none of us are doing much tonight, but we'll see if the restart does get underway. Obviously all of us will be watching the US Grand Prix in about a few hours time, depending where
Yeah,
you're from of course.
We should be. Oh, there we go.
Here are the lights then for the Japanese Grand Prix for the third time of asking. We're about to get underway, and let's see who gets a better start off the line. So I think Hazara's got a decent start. Giovanni is fighting with Lifebar as Hazara covers the inside line. You can see the Aston Martin and McLaren trying to go side by side. As you can see, Lifebar carrying the speed through turn 2, went a bit wide, and now Lifebar stays in P3 with Giovanni in P2, Kakowski in P4. No contact in the first lap, so that's amazing from all these drivers in the first few corners of the Japanese Grand Prix. We've seen plenty of contact, first lap contact as well, especially this season at the Japanese Grand Prix. It looks like the Haas at the back is getting a bit detached there with a bit of a gravel on his tyres, but looks like they all get away scot-free. And as we make our way now into Degda 2, let's see if he's going to be overtaken into the hairpin. And AlphaTauri on the back of the Ferrari. Kakowski is going to make his way down the inside. We go. His teammate Dareth is trying to make a move on Sem Kullermans, but he stays ahead for the time being, does Sem. Now side by side with the Alfa Romeo, and he slots in behind. You can see Snipes getting a decent exit out of the hairpin. Into Spoon we go. He moves himself up into P4, trying to make his second overtake on Kakowski. Done it this time in successful fashion, as they all remain as they are then on lap 1.
Yeah, Slipe starting on the medium tires, he had that great advantage. The same for Dara, so both WR drivers on the medium tires. Kakowski not fighting it too hard as he is on the hards, which is of course a slower compound. And there's a little bit of contact between Lifebad and Givana, nothing too major. That's basically the first contact of the race. I've seen the Haas in the back. He had his left end plate missing, as now Snipes goes for the move as well. So that's probably going to be 2 positions lost as Giovanni fights it around the outside. Can he hang it around there? No, he can't. Just the grip is not there for the Aston Martin, as he loses 2 positions now in the space of 3 corners almost. So not the best of sections for him. And indeed the Haas at the back, Miguelato already in the pit lane to change his nose.
Yeah, so Giovanni is on the hardcore power tyres then, so it's not bad for him because he knows the guys at the head of the mediums will get past him and try and pull away. But as long as he stays on that DRS train, it should pay dividends for him later on in this race if he can stick with that train. Snipes into P3, then the top 3 on the medium compound tyres go for that balanced strategy there. In the background I can see Papaya quite close behind the RCR driver. He's actually making a lunge down the inside. Is Papaya? Can he make it stick? No, because Lab stays ahead of Papaya for the time being. So both RCR drivers inside the top 10 for Alpine, as 2 drivers are on the soft compound tyres then, as they're all in one big DRS train so far. DRS will be enabled the next lap, and let's see if there can be any more overtaking action. As Papine is right behind Lab once again, they're going side by side, lad. So it looks like out of Spoon, Papine had a decent exit, got past the Alpine, and here comes the LDL driver into 130R. Will he lose another place? It looks like he will, as we head into the final two corners we go into the heavy braking zone. It's still side by side here, but let's see that he gets pushed onto the curb and loses traction, and unfortunately lost the place there. Has RCR Lab just gave a bit of a squeeze on the exit and put him onto the dirt. As we see, Dareth right behind. Oh, they make contact into turn number 1 there. My graphic wasn't working once again. Dareth lets him go, probably knowing that's his mistake, and Giovanno is let through into P4. So Giovanno struggling on those hard compound tyres, as you expect, with the AlphaTauri on the mediums all over the back of him. So Giovanno starting to lose places here, and the AlphaTauri looking behind, trying to make an advantage on those mediums as much as he can, and couldn't get past on that time being. But DRS will be enabled then, as Astros has retired and has caused a virtual safety car.
Yeah, in the uphill left-hander, he just lost it on the traction, I'm gonna think. And that is in the wall. Virtual safety car is out just as both McLarens, both ET8 cars, were about to pull away from Snipes. The gap already was over a second in turn 1, as all three of them have used a lot of ERS. Givana being a little bit more conservative with his battery, and he's still quite full on it. So the top three have really been pushing, and now they just need to focus on that safety car restart. And I think it's about to end pretty soon. Everyone's going full throttle. Yeah, and there it is. No one with a drive through, so that's good. Two cars at the back, starting on the soft tires, Mikela and Izamadu, but probably not making as much progress as they would have wanted. But now Mikela is looking at the back of both Royker Pence and Lab into the last chicane, and Royker Pence getting pushed onto the grass and going straight on. Where does he rejoin? Just ahead of both, and he has some of the brakes to avoid making contact with the Alpine. So a little bit hairy there, that battle. As Mikela now eases past him, further up the field it was Dara making a move on Givano. So finally the Irishman gets his prey and gets the overtake done.
Into turn 1 in the background, I can see a few cars going side by side, including the Aston Martin and a Red Bull. Giovanni Axelino is up into P14 after starting at the back of the field at P16, so he's made great ground already. 6 places in about 4 laps, so let's see if he can continue. But ETA looking really comfortable so far at the time, being in first and second place and working together with DRS. However, somebody went off the track at Degner 1. That was Diaval, who's really struggling there, and his teammates coming back at him as we head into the hairpin there. Both Red Bulls are fighting, but unfortunately only for P16. Not looking good for GS10 so far, as they both look like they're struggling around here in Japan. But however, both McLarens of Hazara and Lifebound, first and second, just used each other for DRS. Also, both AlphaTauris in third and fourth, so WOR looking really good so far. And as you can see, they're both in the background together as Dareth is pulling out the slipstream, getting up of the turbulent air of his teammate. Should both have DRS, but Snipes is quite far behind to have the DRS to the back of Lifebound as we head into the heavy braking zone then. And coming out the final corner, Snipes might be under pressure from Dareth. I think Dareth have to get this move done, otherwise the Aston Martin Giovanni will take advantage. So both AlphaTauris are swapping places. Does Dareth have the pace? However, we've got a yellow flag into the final 2 corners we go, and was that both Red Bulls that would making contact? But McKillany on those soft compound tyres was up into P10. More yellow flag says we've got a crash into Spoon. It's a safety car that has came out too, and that is a Haas, so that might change things up for this race.
Yeah, Mega Latta at the back, he didn't really have a purpose in his race anymore, having lost his wing already in lap 1, and now crashed out. The race is over for him. Of course, Royker Pence already in the pit lane. He goes onto the medium tyres, changing his wing, serving a penalty. So that safety car is definitely not ideal, let's say, for him.
I'm gonna go to the toilet, so I'll be right back again, Bob.
Have a good one. But yeah, the top 4 all on medium tyres. They probably are going to pit to the hard tyres. I think though, everyone is basically going to pit. Even those hard runners, they should go onto the mediums. They will make that 22 laps. It is doable. They will drop off massively at the end, of course. But yeah, the pace advantage at the beginning might outweigh it. If, for example, Kivano, if he can make up those 4 positions just ahead of him after the safety car restart, being on those fresher compounds, we've seen it with both WR cars, that the medium is really good to have under your car, and you can make moves pretty easily. Let's have a look at what the drivers are doing. Lifeboat is slowing down, same for Snipes, to create a gap to their teammates, to not have that double stack effect as much. But they are all gonna go into the pit lane. Sam's the only one staying out. Is it anyone else? After very close to making contact was Givana on the back of Snipes. And indeed it is only Sam staying out. Everyone else on the grid is coming in to the pit lane yet to change tires indeed. So it is Hazara, Dara both to the hard tires. Loudbout, interestingly, he is opted to go for the soft tires, and behind him Snipes losing out massively, of course, with that double stack. Not too much for Loudbout. He is only dropped to Dara, but now it's Givano right behind the McLaren. Kegakowski have made up some positions as well, and basically everyone who was right behind their teammate Lab as well. He was right behind his teammate King. He has dropped down to P13, and that makes for a very interesting safety car restart. Of course, mixed tire compounds, mixed tire live even, with Sam being in the lead.
I've just came back and I've just seen a lot of people head off into the pit lane then to get rid of their medium/hard compound tyres. So Hazara is on the hards. Theoretically, he can go towards the end of the Grand Prix, but what about the rest of the field who are on the mediums and the softs? Lifeboat go for a short stint on the soft compound tyres, so his strategy might be hard, soft, soft. We'll see. This is a brand new lobby, by the way, so they have soft compound tyres in their disposal, unlike in the other lobbies where the soft compound tyres are used up. So this could be an interesting race now. Now the strategy is completely mixed up with a few people. In fact, one person, which is Seb Kullermans in P1, decided to stay out there on final lap on hards, so he's probably going for his normal strategy from hards to mediums. But let's see if it pays dividends for him. His tyre life won't be too old, but obviously newer tyres plus the pace of those guys behind, he might get swallowed up, and also the guys with the mediums and the softs. It might be quite difficult there for Seb Kullermans to maintain P1, but we'll see how it all plays out. Looks like both have tyres pitted, hence why his teammate is quite far down the order. Snipes in P9 where he should have been in P4, but unfortunately that double stack cost him. Looks like both McLarens in P2 and P4. The double stack hasn't cost them dearly, but they have got AlphaTauri in the way in P3. Obviously both McLarens might be given team orders, hence why Hazara on the hards and Lifeboat on the soft compound tyres might be swapping over after the safety car restart, because Lifeboat were much quicker than Hazara. So different interesting strategies going on in the midfield, and let's see which one works out in the end.
I think the mediums, yeah, I said it already, they can make it to the end. Interestingly, Sam, he doesn't think that pitting, even now, is the best option. Of course, he would have dropped right to the back of the field, joining his teammate on the last two positions, but still, he can make it to the end if he pits now. But he won't. He will stay out, and he will try his best not to get absolutely swallowed at that safety car restart, being on all hards. Some guys, Lifeboat, only one guy, of course, being on fresh softs, but a lot of people on fresh mediums. He's gonna have a real struggle to keep those behind, or to even have put up a little bit of a fight. They're just gonna out-traction him every left, right and center. It's gonna be really tough for him.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen it all the time when people stay out there for track position, but not the place to be. Here at the Japanese Grand Prix, where overtaking is possible around here in any place wherever you go, especially down at the hairpin too, or into Spoon. So Sam, let's see how long he can stay in P1 for and try to defend from those guys. Hazara's job, he has to get past Sam immediately without losing any time. Lifeboat has to capitalise on those soft compound tyres too, so his objective to get past Dareth, Sam and Hazara as quickly as he can. I presume Hazara will let him go and focus on his own strategy, and Lifeboat will try and pull over a big gap before he heads off into the pit lane. The medium compound tyres, I think, can go towards the end, like you said. 20 laps on them shouldn't be too bad, but towards the end, we'll see if Hazara will be able to try and close them up. That's if depends if Giovanni, Kakowski, and all them behind can overtake him. As you can see there, Hazara almost went off the track at Spoon, so probably shut his eyes for a moment and almost off the track. But the safety car should be in at the end of this lap, and racing can continue once again. It should be at the end of this lap, surely, because we had 2 laps behind the safety car. There's no stragglers at the back just trying to catch up, and it is at the end of this lap then. So Seb Kullermans will control the safety car restart, and let's see if he will drop back dramatically, or can he hold on to P1, which would be unlikely, judging by those on the softs and mediums and their pace at the start of the race too. So this could be a massive pay for Seb, but let's see how it plays out for him in the Alfa Romeo. Represents X, whereas his teammate is currently down in 18th then. So they're all in an Alfa Romeo sandwich in P1 and P18. And let's see how it all falls after the safety car restart. No DRS for 2 laps, of course. After the safety car restart, Hazara is immediately on the back of the Alfa Romeo. You can see a life bar on the back of the AlphaTauri as both McLarens pull out to overtake their rivals. Hazara's in P1, life bar's in P3, and that was crucial already to make those moves before the first lap, before the first corner on the first lap of the safety car restart. Seb is in P2, life bar P3, Darren from P4, expected to drop off behind, being on the hard compound tyres, but now Darren from P4 is in P4 ahead of those people on the medium compound tyres, so he might be in a bit of bother. Is Dareth there with the rest of them on better tyres at this stage of the race? Life bar all over the back of Sem, 2 steps softer strategy of course, and on much better tyres. He might be easy pickings for him. I might get him into the hairpin.
Ooh, that says a little bit of contact. Not Life bar wasn't too sure where Sam was going to go, but he gets him into the hairpin. Same goes for Givana. It was a little bit tougher for the Aston Martin compared to the McLaren, but both get the move done, and now Dara needs to keep looking behind him and not losing any more positions. Cobra as well with the run on Pepijn doesn't quite make it, but comes very close to contact as Pepijn is all over the back of Snipes as well. One of those drivers on the hards is the Polishman in the AlphaTauri. Kate Grugowski, he is looking for a move on Dara as he pulls out to the left just ahead of 130R, makes that move stick. So it's the hard runners losing out massively. Further at the back, there's more moves going on. Lab and Axelinho were having a little fight there. Pepijn
contact!
Snipes as they make contact indeed. Snipes is around Pepijn, losing positions as well. Axelinho and Michele profiting from that. Just contact after the last corner. Sam losing another position, this time to Givana, who is now in P3, and they make contact. I think Givana had an illegal overtake. It looked like as he slammed on the brakes to let the Alpha back through, and that allowed Kegagowski as well to slip through into P4, as they are now very close, the whole train. And is the Ferrari gonna make a move on the outside of the first segment? They make contact, and Sam is round as they make contact. The apex of the first deck move, not really a place to overtake, of course. Yeah, just understeer or too less room given. One of the two was quite tough to judge, but now everyone basically is freed from Sam, who was on old tires and holding them all up.
Yeah, shame for Sam. None of them were willing to yield, and that's not a corner you want to go side by side, especially through the first Degner as well. A high-speed corner, and it's quite narrow as well, that corner, so that's why Sam spun. Just not enough room given, and you don't really see overtakes into the first Degner. You can see RCR King all over like a cobra. They made contact coming out of the hairpin, and luckily stayed on the track. We've got, that's contact there as Palaganda had to get out of the throttle. Yes, he hits the back of the AlphaTauri, Dareth. Meanwhile, the lap before, Dareth hit the back of the Ferrari of Kwiatkowski that has a spun. No, he saved on the curb, but he's in the pit lane then. Wonder if he's got any damage, but unfortunately now he's in the pit lane and lost a lot of position. So the safety car restarts definitely triggered a lot of action here in this afternoon as we head into the first 2 corners then. ETA got a dream start P1 and P2 after Sen was a roadblock for the other drivers behind. Kwiatkowski gained massively from P5 to P3 after Giovanni had to give the place back due to yellow flags in that first sector, as Giovanni wasn't paying attention to those yellow flags, just trying to get past the Alfa Romeo as quickly as he can, not recognising the yellow flags were there, and as a result Kwiatkowski made his way through and up into P3, so 2 seconds is the gap towards the ETA drivers. A bit sloppy in the exit there for Kwiatkowski in the second deck there, so might be under pressure from Giovanni on the medium compound tyres. If Darrow can stay in this train as well, might pay dividends for him later on in this race when his tyres might be in favour towards the end in comparison to the mediums when his tyres are in better shape. So if he can stay in this DRS trade, another podium might be on the cards for Dareth in P5 or for WOR, second consecutive podium if he can get that after they scored one at the British GP. But both McLarens first and second, and I wonder Lifebar will have to pit again for sure. But will he be the quickest one towards the end? How many positions can he make up towards the end of the Grand Prix? That's if another safety car don't appear, because he'll lose a lot of time. And a short stint of those soft compound tyres as well. How much of a gap can he pull towards P3 downwards? And they're all in a big scrap, with Kwiatkowski being the DRS train leader in front, with Giovanni putting the pressure on in P4. So Giovanni tried to reclaim P3, which he does do, side by side, an easy move there, and he moves himself back into P3.
A little bit further back, it's Sam losing 2 positions to both Izumado and Diaval. 3 positions actually on one straight, as the other Red Bull of Raf gets through as well. But like you said, it isn't done yet for ET8 on their 1-2 at least. With Lifeboat having to pit and Gifano, when Lifeboat pitted, if it's early, he will have that superior pace still on the mediums, and he only needs to gain 1 second, which is not an awful lot, as Sam has spun, I think, on his own in the Dunlop curve. We've seen, of course, Astros already losing the car there, but now it's Sam as well. Royke Pence, I think, is having a little bit of troubles as well, as I think he misses part of his wing. At the left, he is missing his end plate, so maybe there was a little bit of contact between both Alfa Romeos, one spinning, one collecting each other. I'm not too sure, but both have definitely done something this lap where they didn't really profit from, as they are now, not counting Palangana, who is 50 seconds back, they are dead last of this whole field.
It's a shame there for Palaganda, because he had great pace, especially the British GP2, finishing in the top 5, but unfortunately now, just tried to be optimistic and aggressive, didn't work out, and got spun on the grass there, had to pit as well. He's on the soft compound tyres, so that's surely another pit stop. Both ETAs might be swapping positions. No, because Hazara stays behind for the time being. They know that the pack behind are going to be on their tail very shortly, because Lifeboat's tyres won't hold on for the next few laps of this race, and therefore Giovanni, Kwiatkowski and the rest of them will be able to catch up as well. Cobra in P6 represented LDL as they're fighting IRT in the championship. Papine in P10 missing a teammate, of course, as he retired at the exit of Spoon. There's currently a lone Mercedes there with an RCR driver right behind him too, for good measure. So LDL, if they can score some decent points, might get ahead in the championship. I don't think it'll be enough though. As you can see, Giovanni a bit of a twitch. He is definitely gaining on the top 2 ahead. So Lifeboat on those soft compound tyres. Has he chosen the right strategy though? Because he's not able to pull away as he would have wanted on those soft compound tyres. Because those soft compound tyres should be fading away very shortly, whereas the mediums could go towards the end. So is Hazara's hards, but if Hazara stays behind his teammate any more longer, you might find the medium runners right behind him with DRS soon. So how are McLaren going to play this out? Will they keep Hazara in P2 behind, try and protect Lifeboat, or what will happen? Because obviously those two on the hards and softs, they've got medium runners right behind. Those mediums will be still in good shape so far in this race, and therefore Hazara will be that DRS train behind them.
Yeah, definitely an interesting situation, as Givano, he gained a lot in that middle sector, but then lost it all again in the last sector with Hazara have his cliffhanger, and now he goes for the overtake. Those softs have fallen off enough for ETA to say swap positions, and then the hard runner is going to be the leading car. King and Cobra a little bit further down, swapping positions as well. It's actually LDL who are ahead of IRT by 7 points, so it's all up to Papine to get a great result for IRT. Otherwise, they will stay like this. And RCR only 6 points behind IRT. So King being in P6, he can definitely shake that standing up a little bit in the midfield. And still, Givano, he is giving the chase to the top 2. Lifeboat is definitely dropping off the pace. It's only a matter of when, not if he's gonna pit, of course, being on those soft tires. Yeah, Givano dragging along a big train all the way down to P10. Papine now almost falling out of it. Yeah.
Looks like Papine's got RCR Lab covered then, so Papine last in this DRS trade, hoping to hold on because he knows RCR and LDL are his championship rivals heading into this race. And I think I got them mixed up. It's RCR who are behind International Racing Team by 6 points then, so these points are crucial. Actually, McKinley, all contact into 130R, they both spawn trying to go down the inside, but unfortunately as a result they both spin out, and they don't lose any from wing either, so that's very fortunate for them, but lost a lot of track position indeed, and they both fall down the order dramatically as well. McKillany, after starting last in this Grand Prix, has dropped into 11th. There not a lot of positions lost, but still, looks like a Red Bull is slowing down of DML as he slows down to let them go. I'm not quite sure why he's slowing down, and here comes Izumadu to make an overtake too. But back to the front then, it looks like I was about to say Giovinazzi then. Giovanno can't close in on Lifeboat, so somewhere in that lap, Lifeboat has the edge over Giovanno despite being on the soft compound tyres.
Yeah, most likely, of course, on the straights, just being in the slipstream of the car in front helps already a lot, and then having the DRS on the start finish, it only extends that gap. But it's surprising how good Lifeboat is still managing to keep up. Already 8 laps on softs. They still, they're not completely dead, but they're also not in great shape anymore. 1.5 seconds, so the gap stays the same around, around 1.5 the last couple of laps, as because of that incident between Izumadu and Michele, or it was Cobra and Michele, I think. Axelinho has now fallen out of the DRS train of the top 6, so he has to drive his socks off to get back in and have any chance of still winning this championship, which with each lap that passes, the chance of course gets slimmer for NLR to win when ET8 occupy the first 2 positions at the moment.
Yeah, indeed, and Axelino is actually in the pit lane as well, so I wonder what strategy he's going for. Is it a brand new wing? Is it another set of medium compound tyres? Does he believe those mediums could go towards the end? We'll find out. It's a brand new set of mediums then, so a 2-stop strategy for him as he puts on a brand new set of meds and takes them towards the end as well. So is it going to be medium for him towards the end? I think this is a scheduled stop just to be on those fresher tyres. 12 laps left to go. Does he believe he has the pace to try and hunt them all down and try and get as many positions as he can then, as he was dropped out of the DRS train after it split up with contact there with McKillany and I think it was Cobra it was in that DRS train, but it's been separated due to that. Papine is 3.1 seconds behind now as he was in that DRS train. He was last in it, but due to the guys falling out of it and making contact, and also actually in the pit lane, he's 3.1, so he's dropped out dramatically. As King for RCR has done a great job as well. RCR haven't been really up high as they were in previous races, but nice to see him there in the top 6 and in his DRS train as well. Fight for P3 is on. Lifeboat, however, on those soft compound tyres, and there's a yellow flag. That's Palagagna who spun, and if a safety car comes out, that would definitely help Lifeboat too to reduce the deficit and put in a brand new set of tyres without losing too much time. So no safety car, no virtual. It's racing as we continue then. As you can see, Kikowski is all over the back of Giovanni. The gap goes to like 1.4 in the middle sector. When it comes onto the last sector, when Lifeboat gets the slipstream, that's when he gains as well. So both McLarens working well with each other, and as you can see, Giovanni was moving on the straight as Kikowski now moves himself up into P3. And let's see if he can try and hunt down Lifeboat too. Lifeboat holding to the back of his teammate there as he needs to, but when will he pit? It's not a question of if, it's like when you said.
Yeah, I think this is exactly what Givano and Kikowski need to do. They need to work together as well. Even though they're not in the team, if they just do it on their own, they're not going to be able to catch up to Zara most likely. So if they just continue to swap positions and use that DRS like the top 2 are using it, then they have the chance to get back in that DRS range. As I think the Ferrari went a little bit deep in the second deck, not touching the grass now, under braking as well. It didn't affect him too much, but it is those little things that can maybe cost it at the DRS detection point, as it's currently dropping down a lot as the Ferrari is deploying all of its battery that it has left, or almost in the DRS, and only 1.2 is the gap right now. But still, that slipstream is just so good. And Lifeboat not using his ERS though, so this might be the lap where the DRS gets back for the 1 and P3, but I don't think he is in it. It was 1.01, and then the DRS detection was just after the breaking point as Lifeboat now goes into the pit lane. They didn't want to get caught by Kekagowski and didn't want to give the DRS to him either. Papine as well in the pit lane, so it looks like those mediums are not holding up as they should.
Yeah, so this is interesting. Then those who are the medium compound tires, will they take them towards the end or will they pit? We saw Axelino in the pit lane, Papay's in the pit lane, we've got a few others in the pit lane. Lifebout, you expect on those soft compound tires to be in the pit lane. He comes out in 10th place with clean air as well. Axelino is right behind him too, or well, a few car lengths in between as well. 2.4 seconds now is the gap between Axelino and Lifebout as they were in that DRS trade as well. So Lifebout and P10, let's see the gap to leader. Hazara theoretically don't have to come in the pit lane, neither does the rest of them, but it's all about tyre life. Can they manage their tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix? 10 laps to go, the medium tyres will be 21 laps old for those who haven't pitted, because the safety car came out really early, about lap 5 I believe it was when the safety car came out, so those mediums have some work to do to the end. For those who pitted, have a great chance of clawing those places black and trying to reduce the deficit. Lifebout, the second Degner, actually went off there. Might pick up a chat limit warning, so can't afford to do that as he's pushing on his outlap then. So it'd be very interesting to see who pits now, because this is the lap you want to pit. You don't want to leave it too late towards the end, otherwise you don't have those laps to catch up towards the end. So pit stops start happening around about now. But if they don't pit this lap, I think those guys in the medias will take it towards the end. And let's see Darius' tyres as well, because Darius on the hard compound tyres fights against medium runners. Actually, Giovanno's in the pit lane then, so those people on the medium compound tyres is actually a two-stop strategy, not a one-stop.
Yeah, it turns out I was wrong all along, so this is even better news for Dara and Hazara, who are on those hard tires. Same for Mikkel and Izumadu, who now have a chance of scoring some very good points. A lap onto the soft tires. He needs to take them 9 laps, but we've seen with Lifebout, he took him 8 laps, of course, with safety car laps, that was though. So around 6 or 5 laps of actual racing. Same for Cobra, so the two Frenchmen, both for the softs, which is going to be a very long stint on those red tires. Sam still not pitting. He's probably just waiting and praying for another safety car to save his life here.
Yeah, Sam Kullermans. Others have done 2 stops, and he hasn't even pitted once. So he stayed out during a safety car, but unfortunately not paid dividends for him. So if a safety car comes out now, it'll definitely help him, because he'll lose a lot of time once he pits and probably fall into P16, because Roik and Palaganda had their own problems there, and both Alfa Romeos spun at Dunlap a few laps ago. I don't know if they made contact with each other because they were so close to each other, but not quite sure if contact was made or it was the aftermath, and unfortunately contact was made and Roy Port just spun later on the lap. But Dareth is right at the back of Kakowski then to see both Aston Martins close together. Let's see if Giovanno is let through by Axelino, because Giovanno has had the pace all along. Bearing in mind, Axelino starts at the back of the field. Kakowski, don't know if that's lag or not, moving all over the place. And here comes Dareth then, moves himself up into P2. His hards are probably better towards the mediums then. So those people in the mediums have stayed out there. And King is in the pit lane to go to soft compound tyres then. So this is a game of catch up now towards those people who've pitted. Will those guys get a lot of time? And we'll see towards the end of the Grand Prix which driver has the better strategy. Here we are with Lifebout and Izumadu going side by side, but Lifebout around the outside into one. Great move. Let's see the gap to leader between him and Hazara. 19 seconds, that's a big deficit to make in around about 8 laps to go this race, but we'll see if it pays dividends for him later on.
That's 3 seconds a lap. I don't think that's going to be
Enough.
It's going to be a viable thing to do. Same Kakowski, he will be slower than all the drivers around him, but and then that's around 17 seconds. I think Lifebout needs to catch to him, which is also near impossible. I think Izumado and Mikila, they will drop back loads. As Givano now, he got through Axelinho, just let him by. And he's now on the hunt for Izumado at first, and then it's going to be Mikkel and maybe even Lifebout for the Aston Martin. But as it stands, as there is contact between Givano and Izumado, I don't think it was enough to give damage to Givano as they come very close, almost onto the grass. Going onto 130, Izumado defending that with ERS. They make a little bit of wheel banging, but that's of course fine. Now onto the last chicane, very close again, but Givano gets past now. Axelinho as well, he wants to get past as soon as possible, because that Williams is on very, very old tires, but he doesn't give up. He uses his ERS as further up the field. Lifebout gets past Mikkel, and that move is done. Izumado down the inside again over Givano. Even though his tires are 12 laps older, Givano goes off the track, and that is Izumado up back into P6, and Excelino as well through on Givano, so that's a very costly mistake for the Dutchman in that Aston Martin.
Yeah, he wants to get past him, dispose of him, and try and make his way up to the field, but unfortunately, he's actually stayed behind, and Giovanni there, really struggling to get past the Williams, actually dropped back now, so I'm not quite sure if he's picked up any damage, because the gap is over 1 second. Looks like he has picked up damage, because I can see a lot of steering input and understeer to go with it. Axelino stuck behind the Williams then, so they can't make their way past the Williams for some reason, even though they got monumental pace at the first stint, and they're stuck behind once again. And now Giovanni's under pressure from King, so NLR, unfortunately, in this second phase of the race, started to drop back now, but Axelino, who started last, is stuck behind the Williams once again despite being on older tyres, so not able to take advantage with fresher rubber on the car. So let's see if they can finally get past that Williams. In the background, King is putting pressure on Giovanni, who's on the soft compound tyres too, so let's see if he gets past him on the short straight. No, he tucks it behind him, waiting for the DRS, possibly. You can see Kakowski now all over the back of Dareth, but can't make a move into turn 1, so stays behind for the time being. Dareth could be on course for a podium, another podium for WOR, and that'll definitely help him in the championship too. Axelino right behind as Giovanni's in the pit lane. Here comes Axelino. Oh, the Williams moves on the straight there. That's probably illegal from the Williams there. As Axelino into turn 1 we go. Finally gets past the Williams driver. Took 2 laps long, but finally gets rid of him.
Yeah, it was definitely damage for Giovanni. It was now it's very safe to say that contact and spoon apparently was enough to give him substantial wing damage, and he pulls into the pit lane, and that's any chances of him scoring any points gone as well, for that matter. I've been watching the gap for live bout just pure out of interest, and it was 15 seconds just a lap ago, so he is gaining almost 2 seconds a lap, I think. But even with that, he will come short around 2-3 seconds to get back up into the podium. King now has a lot less trouble to get past Izu than the NLR drivers had, even though the Williams is looking on the back of the Alpine, maybe making a move into Spoon or waiting to go after it. He does stay behind, and with that grip, King now is gone as well, and he is making the chase for Axelino, who on his turn he is chasing Michele. So this fight is definitely just beginning to start.
Yeah, well, lap 22 now with Hazara pulling a 2.2 second gap. Kakowski is still in the back of Dareth there, just probably waiting to later on in this race to overtake him, because he knows he's on the older medium compound tyres. As long as he can stay in this DRS train or DRS right behind him and attack him later on in the race. Here comes King on Axelino, so King on those soft compound tyres making use of them and moves himself up into P6 in an important fight with IRT Esports, currently behind in P9. He's got RCR Lab behind him, but 3.4 on a set of soft compound tyres then. So I think RCR could leapfrog IRT in the championship and demote him further down if I got it correct, because I know LDR are in that scrap as well. So RCR are behind IRT, but IRT could be moved down into 7th place, which is not good for them at all. And they were close to almost winning at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix with Sahilu, but I'm not quite sure what happened in that race, because it was quite a few weeks ago, and my memory's not great either, so IRT there unfortunately didn't score the points they needed. Back at Abu Dhabi and Hungary as well, because Hungary was another chance of them coming close to a potential win or podium for sure. Here comes RCR King, and that's another position made, 5th place, so I dare say RCR will definitely get IRT in the championship, and P5 and P10 will definitely secure it.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Axelino being jumped by King a couple of laps ago. So RCR will get those points. They will definitely get more than 6. It's just a question of how much Papine can get from this race. He's already within half a second of Izumada, so he will definitely jump the Williams. That's going to be P8 for him, and maybe he can get Michele as well. Only 3 seconds up the right as Izumadu spins into the pit lane, and he is out of this race as well. Does that cause another safety car? It's only a virtual. That may cause an opportunity for people to jump into the pit lane, and Cobra is the first one who does so. No full safety car. Diaval having a little hesitation, but goes straight on, snipes into the pit lane, and only a virtual safety car for a crash in the pit wall, which I would assume usually definitely means a full safety car, but this is a chance for everyone to get their battery back up to level, and basically just a delay for those on all hards to get past.
VSC has slowed things down then, and we've got 5 laps left of this season. This has been a phenomenal season with great fights throughout the entirety of the season for CPI, NLR.
Just to quickly get in, as Stephen said in the chat, he's very he's good eyes he has. There is actually a full safety car. He is on track. But it just says VSC, and now it changed for us as well to safety car. So there is a full safety car, and I think everyone will go into the pit now.
Yeah, 70 lap on hards for Hazara. I think he should definitely jump in the pit lane, which he is going to do. So is Dareth and Kakowski then. So this is not great for Lifebar, but I don't think he would have caught them anyway. He was too far back. But we'll see then if any. This safety car might change a lot of things this race, with everybody being bunched up with the last few laps of this Grand Prix. Looks like Aizu Madu in P17, P18 might have caused something, and let's see what happens then. As Lifebar, I expect everybody to dive in the pit lane with a brand new set of softs fitted to their cars, and this should be a good sprint race all the way to the end.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone on equal tires. I saw Mickey that he got a 3-second time penalty under that safety car, which is rather unfortunate. I think in upcoming to Spoon maybe there was some sort of contact or distraction or some sort of iffiness from another driver that caused that 3-second. But this throws everything back into play. Lifeboat now, he has a chance to win again, after of course being more than 10 seconds down to Gagowski. Hazara being in the lead basically all his race, having started from pole as well. Having that 2-second gap on Dara that he used to have has now disappeared as well, as the field is gonna get bunched up again. Probably not next lap. I think it's gonna be the lap after. So yeah, it allows Sam to make his first pit stop of the day as well. I think it was actually his second, so he pitted before that as well. So, but he has now also gone onto the fresh softs. Yeah, everyone onto fresh softs.
Yeah, everybody should have a brand new set of softs, 3 or 4 softs at their disposal due to not taking part in quality. Let me rephrase that. A brand new lobby, sorry, I don't know why I said that. Obviously, there was qualifying session, but yeah, a brand new set of softs for everybody, and this should be a good sprint towards the end. This has definitely benefited Lifebar and all those who did a 3-stop strategy because they pitted twice, so they didn't have the pace to catch those guys towards the end. So it looked like it's gonna be an easy win for Hazara because he had the gap over Dareth. The hardcore power ties to Kakowski in P3 now, looking on course for a podium, but he's got Lifebat right behind him too, so have to watch out for him because Lifebat has been mighty. Those soft power tyres, well, it doesn't matter anymore because he's in P4 and has gained all the time he lost due to that extra pit stop he did. So it looks like the 2-stop strategy was the best way to go so far, but those 3 stoppers had a lot of catching up to do. When his safety car has wiped out all of it, and we're back all together then. Once the safety car comes in, it should be a great race towards the end. And Darren through P2 has done an amazing job. WOR, where has this pace been all through the season? Because they started to have some good pace in the last few races this season, but they could be on course for a win. But with Hazara's pace, it's been mighty like the whole of it. So let's see if Hazara can win this Grand Prix, or will it be Dareth? Kakowski on course for a podium, same with Lifebout. McKillany has got a penalty. McKillany, by the way, he started at P16 up into P6, but unfortunately has that penalty to his name. Axelino started P20 and is in P7, and we should be on for a thriller race towards the end of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, definitely. I was on board with Rocky Pence down in P16. He went off at Spoon, so he probably did pick up a warning for that, but he already had a penalty, but just overdriving the car a little bit, trying to get back up to the train, which he has done now, onto the back of Givano, who's fallen down to P15, starting in P2, of course. Nightmare race for him. The opposite can be said for his teammate, who has jumped 13 places already this race, and maybe even more to come in those last 2 laps that we're going to go back to racing, which is going to be just all chaos, all spectacle, I hope. And I also hope not a lot of incidents, which is probably just the wishful thinking, as these, yeah, it happens.
I thought Dirk was joking, but he's actually joined TF10, so congratulations Dirk for joining TF10. I thought he was messing around, but he's actually not. So he's moved from ETA to TF10, and Dirk with his incredible pace. Let's see how we can do in TF10. And TF10 should be jumping with joy on that one because they've got a really talented driver of Dirk. So let's see then how the team boosts, and this is going to be carnage towards the end, and Nathan actually said it towards the end too. So with 2 laps to go, there's going to be a lot of desperation. They know a podium / winners on the cards. A lot of desperate moves, a lot of aggressive overtakes as well, side by side. And towards the last lap of the season, it's going to be a monumental race. And here we are with the safety car towards the end of the Grand Prix as well, with only 2 laps left to go, so no DRS is in play. This is a sprint all the way to the end of the last round of the season. Hazara leads ahead of Darren. He had great pace throughout the entirety of this race then, so can he pull away like he did? But let's see, there were 2 laps left to go. All the hard work could be done. Darren is alongside him trying to do the Max Verstappen move back in 2021, which is not allowed anymore. And here we are, he's caught him napping. He gets a great restart. You can see Kwiatkowski's all over the back of him. Here comes Lifebar. They could go 3 abreast on the straight there. Darren might be in the middle. And here comes Lifebar. And here comes Kwiatkowski. No, he stays ahead. Oh, Kwiatkowski! They make contact and he's spun. And that's unfortunate for Lifebar. Lifebar has spun out of the Grand Prix as well. And Darren remains in P2, Kwiatkowski remains in P3. I did see Kwiatkowski go sideways into turn 1-2, but actually he stays in P for the time being then, so podium could be in the cards. You can see McKillany all over the back of RCR King. He's got a 3-second time penalty as well, so he could drop down the order with the safety car being out so late in the Grand Prix, bunching everybody up. But yeah, Lifebar then a bigger shocker surprise in this Grand Prix has spun on course for a podium, but unfortunately not anymore. Down in P17, they'll still win the championship, I believe, but only with Hazara in P1.
Yeah, big shame for him as a been moved down the field a bit. Snipes making up a move to P10 currently for him, so he will probably be P8 after penalties applied. But it is going to be more chaos even. Of course, the first turn is always the most hectic, but the top 3 a little bit separated now, and only King within half a second of the driver ahead in that top 4. After him though, it is a lot of drivers within striking distance of each other. Axelinho maybe looking for a move on Mikkel, it doesn't quite do it into La Chicane, but Papine goes very deep, and that allows Cobra to go alongside, but can he push onto the curb, but just about giving enough space to not go onto the grass and to stay alive. But now in the slipstream, does he go for a move? He has more straight line speed. He has to go to the outside of turn 1. Let's see if he can make this move stick. Papine going deep to defend, but Cobra around the outside doesn't quite stick. A bit of grass on the left side as well, it looked like, so that didn't do him any favors.
Yeah, so Papine there, I thought he got a bit pinched into turn 2, but actually defended really well against Cobra. Cobra looked like he had speed. Look at King. He's all over the back of Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski's dropped out of 1 second range of DRS. This is the last lap of the Grand Prix. Can King get a podium? This is going to be RCR's first podium of the season if they could do it in the last race here. We're headed into the hairpin. Will he wait? No, he's going to go down the inside into the hairpin. Does he outbreak himself? The bear contact too for good measure, but King gets ahead. Kwiatkowski might be in the favour here. He might be in the best position because he might slipstream him all the way down into the final 2 corners. No, he might get him back into Spoon. They go side by side. Here we are then with Kwiatkowski up the inside. Once again, King is off the track. He outbroke himself. I don't think there was contact there. Just plainly went off the track. And that's his podium chances potentially disappearing. Axelino from the back of the grid might fancy a podium, but both CPI drivers are in P3 and P4 as RCR Lab keeps disconnected. As we head now into 130R we go. Here we are down the inside. This is Axelino down the inside. It's the final 2 corners. This is for podium pay positions. Bit of contact too for good measure. They're all over the road. As we cross the line now, Hazara wins the Grand Prix. Look at this. There's a crash in the background. Axelino gets the podium from the back of the field ahead of Kwiatkowski. Wow. What an end into this race this was. Axelino for NLR actually got a podium from starting last. Kwiatkowski got pinched, and I thought McKillany with a penalty should have overtaken Kwiatkowski because Kwiatkowski was vulnerable towards Axelino. Wow. I thought both Ferraris would maintain formation, but they didn't, and that allowed Germano. Sorry, I'm getting way ahead of myself here. That was a lot to digest in the last lap of the race. Unbelievable towards the last lap of the Grand Prix. And Axelino gained the podium. Both Ferraris should have remained where they were. McKillany made a move. That put Kwiatkowski on the back foot because Axelino was around the outside, had the inside line into the final corner, just out dragged him towards the end of the Grand Prix, finished in P3, But ETA win the championship. Congratulations for ETA as well for winning the championship. Are you still there, Bob? Yeah.
I sure am. My mic was maybe a bit muted. Yeah, it was a great, well, a great. It was an hectic end to that race with just so much happening. Even in the last corners, it was three wide even after the last chicane with King having a little bit of a nose as well. But he made contact with one of the Ferraris. So if not for that, maybe King would have been on the podium instead of Axelinho. But the 40 thousandths only separating Kekagowski and Axelinho, and then in the back it was Pepijn spinning with Williams. I didn't quite catch who it was. I think it was Izumadu because they both ended up right at the back, or maybe it was Cobra, who we'll probably see in the steward's room afterwards. But that was carnage, absolute carnage.
Yeah, Pepijn was that driver who was in the wall, like you said. I don't know who else it was. Probably Cobra as well, like you said. So, but RCR King leapfrog IRT Esports. Unfortunately, Lifebout's left the session. What could it have been if Lifebout was still there? But the battle for P3 between those drivers, Axelino was not the option I was going for to get a podium. But unbelievable, King outbroke himself into Spoon, and yeah, probably with a lot of adrenaline going into that as well, knowing there could have been a podium for RCR, but unfortunately just dropped it at the exit of Spoon. Both Ferraris, despite being in P3 and P4, they should have been on the podium, but McKinley overtook his teammate and he left him towards Axelino, who got him.
Yeah, I thought they were just form a wall at the end there in the chicane just to prevent anyone getting through. But then I think maybe Mikela broke himself, but he went a little bit deeper. Then Axelinho saw the opportunity. He went down the inside of Gagagowski, and it was just a three wide up until the line. Crazy, crazy ending.
That's the IRT Esports done and dusted from round one at the Belgian Grand Prix, which was chaotic on the last lap between TF and I think it was NLR as well, or CPI. Beaton, I remember who it was, involved in that contact. Towards the end of the Grand Prix, at the Japanese Grand Prix, also with CPI too. But they changed positions towards the end. There was a big crash between the Mercedes and the Williams in the wall together. But what a season it's been. I've really appreciate commentating for all of you because you've all put on a great show. Maybe a bit dramatic towards the end, but a lot of chaos and carnage. But that's Formula One, and when it comes to a safety car on the last lap, you'll definitely see a lot of that too, because no driver is willing to yield. They can see a podiums in the cards with a lot of desperate moves to try and get as many positions as they can, but unfortunately contact will be involved too in any circumstance or scenario. But I've really enjoyed commentating for IRT Esports. Hopefully we'll get the pleasure to do it again. And thank you for every single driver who's turned up as well. Every single driver who's taken part, with about loads of drivers and esports teams taking part as well. So I respect all of you for taking part too. A few drivers have dropped out. We had low attendance in the last few races, but we had 20, a full grid here at the Japanese Grand Prix. And a massive appreciation for all you drivers turning up as well, practicing here and taking part in races too. Every single race has been amazing, incredible, and hope to see more of this again with commentating at IRT Esports or any esports team, because I've really got used to it as well, because commentating for esports teams I've not really done before because it's all been championships and drivers championships. So, but this time I've had lots to learn, new experiences as well, and commentating with different people too throughout the whole season has been amazing. So thank you all for tuning in. We had 40 people tuning in at once, so I appreciate every single viewer here tonight. And Bob
Yeah,
here,
it's perfectly said.
Bob here, you commentated with the first race this season, now towards the last, so I appreciate you commentating with me because you're a
It's been
great
a perfect
commentator.
sandwich. Cheers, mate. Hats off to you as well. Thank you for being here most races. Really appreciate it.
No worries, mate. And I'm glad to end it off with a great race too around Japan, which has always been a thrilling race. Championship has been won here in Japan before. I think 12 times in the past in Formula One history, the championship has been won here before. Now, ETA won the championship. They should be pleased ahead of NLR and CPI. WR Esports came back towards the end as well. RCR had a great result. Dareth won an incredible drive too. So WR's pace has improved from the start of the season. Can they keep it up though? If another esports team isn't going to happen. But we'll see you all. Enjoy the US Grand Prix, which is under 2 hours time, and hopefully that'll be a great race. But I dare say Verstappen will run away with this one. Judging by his pace in the sprint, Hamilton won't be able to catch up, and neither will the rest. So I think the battle for P2 will be on in the US Grand Prix between Hamilton, Norris, and Leclerc. But I think it's Hamilton, Norris, and Verstappen will be the podium for tonight, for my prediction, at least. We'll see you all whenever, and have a great weekend. In fact, it's Sunday already, isn't it? What day is it today? Is it Sunday? Yeah, it
It's
is.
Sunday.
Yeah, I forgot what day it is. So yeah, it's definitely flown by. So we'll see you all. Have a great week next week, and take care.